habit, which means for the last, 13, 14 years, this has been here as we are retrofitting a church into being a church of data. So the original plan was to just turn it inside into a data center. But then, as you see, we got weirdly creative. So everything you're seeing here is like weird. This is a deconsecrated church, by the way. So like that holy water doesn't work. And there's a cross that's been removed and everything else. You'll see it in a moment. So this place used to be teeming with archivists until COVID. Now it does some functions, and of course we have co-working spaces and everything else. It's all very nice, but it is we love having people stay over and do things, and we have lots of projects, and we're trying to turn more and more into a presentation space, but it's a little different now. But once you look at it with the church goggles, then it all makes sense that that's where they pass the Bibles out, and that's where everyone goes upstairs, and downstairs is the Sunday school, which we'll visit later, and so on.
Yeah.
So, let's see, usually when Brewster talks about it, well, first of all, he always says give money, but besides that, the archive are constantly scanning things, we're constantly turning digital along with what people are giving digital, and sitting over here is the most recent version of our book scanner. This is the little one, so it can scan a book, it can do like a 300-page book in under an hour. And the way that it works is this piece here brings this up, and the two cameras take the picture, it drops down, the poor human being doing it does this, goes back up again, and they can do 2 pages in about 2 seconds. And we have people in various stations around the country, and also in the Philippines, who are scanning in many, 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 many books. We are scanning in, on a good day, we'll scan 3,000. It depends, and then we do all this quality checking, and there's a whole bunch of process of that. And so, one of the side effects was Brewster thought he was going to make the digital Library of Alexandria, but now we have like 10 million actual physical books in storage, so we're a library with books. Anyway, so let's see. If we go over here, to this area here, we love our old media. Brewster loves his 78s, loves the little Edison phonograph. I am not allowed to run it. And the 78 RPM collection we have, where we're digitizing really old 78 RPMs, and now we're doing cylinders. We do books, but we're also trying to do other media in our projects. In here, we have a larger book scanner, which is being worked on. If you glance, you can see it being used. It's the more beefy version. And for the people who are really fascinated with this stuff, this is a microfiche scanner, where we are scanning in an awful, it turns out microfiche is awesome and nobody wants it. And so if you have a court case and you have all the info from the court case on one little modern, something out of the movie Zardoz, it's beloved, but nobody can easily read it, so we turn it back into a readable book on the archive, and we're doing that constantly. We're lucky Merline is around. He's one of the engineers who figured out how to make it, if you look at this microfiche, you can see it's like 2 sets of gears that are just doing this thing. So amazing stuff. Brewster loves showing people Prince of Persia, so since I'm the one who made this happen, that makes it funnier. Years ago, when Brewster hired me in 2011, he was like, hey, new guy, you can read books in the archive, you can look at music, you can look at movies, but you can't play computer software. And I was like, I think we can. And he's like, that's insane. So 2 years and the lives of 14 volunteers later, we were able to do it. And what we did was we ported the main emulator into JavaScript, which don't do that, but if you do it, you end up with this. So what you do is you click on the button. In this case, it brings up a JavaScript DOSBox emulator, and then it's running MS-DOS in your browser. And we have, hundreds of thousands of pieces of software. I mean, this works. And Jordan Mechner came by on Monday because he was in for game development. He drew this, and he was selling it, and I had someone buy it, and we framed it, so he was very happy. This is not anything else related to that. When we have an arcade on the archive where I put up many many arcade, where I put up hundreds upon, well, now thousands upon thousands of video games from real life, right? Like all these games. And the first weekend it happened, I crashed the archive. So I knew I was really on to something. But if you look at like a lot, you know, the number one with a bullet, can't be stopped, any game at the archive is, let's see, Oregon Trail. And like, if you go to Oregon Trail, and you look down at the right, you can see 13,000 plays. So I know, because I've heard news from this, there are schools that like use us because then they can put one kid on each computer instead of apparently I cannot imagine the hell of this, like all the kids surrounding one kid driving. That's no way to learn. All you'll learn is you'll hate your fellow students. So they play this all the time. And we had to like fix our review collection. When the kid wins, like they can't help it, right? So, I mean, me and my history class had a competition to get the highest score. Only a few people made it and actually got a score. It was a fun experience. I would do it again, says Chief Monk. So there's one other thing about this that is absolutely adorable. So we had a problem, quote unquote, with DOS programs, which was, if you can believe this, people were playing role-playing games, saving their character, closing their browser, coming back later and be like, where's my character? Which, you know, they send us a message and we'd be like, your character is gone. But then one of the volunteers who was helping me was like, I could put it in a cookie. So when you come back, it kind of loads from the cookie. And I was like, let's try it. We did it. Like, you could save it, close the browser, and if it was the same browser, it would bring it up. Now that's great. All those complaints went away, but nobody understood what was going on. So two things about that. First of all, yeah, I would have somebody who would say, hey, your thing's giving me trouble and I need a hint for like the 14th level. I've been playing this role-playing game for 8 months and I've gotten to this part, what do I do? And I'm just like, oh my God, you are in a browser. The other one is, I always say that about like there's like, you know, we have games, but I'm fascinated with like pregnancy checkers, bicycle repair, disk utilities. And the disk utilities are always my favorite because they're like Neo meeting like the architect, where he's like, the first question you have, while the most pertinent is the least relevant. How's the floppy drive doing? It is doing fine. You are inside of a virtual floppy drive, inside of a browser connected to a worldwide network that never existed when you were born. And yes, the floppy drive boots. Shut up. Anyway, so when you save, it saves to you, but they think it's to everyone? Stick with me here. You're 12 years old, you're playing Oregon Trail, you get number 2 and you save it? You think you're number 2 in the world. Because you come back and there it is. There's your name. So down here are some of the biggest brags you will ever see. Come on, bring it, guys. Anyway, it's like, don't tell him. Let him live it. Emulation, sell you a home video game company was happy enough with us that they offered me a free video game, emulator on a box, right? Which is beautiful. But the art they had, I thought, was a little default. So we hired an artist named Mar Williams to say, imagine that there was an Internet Archive arcade machine. And they gave it to me, and then we paid them, we open sourced the art, and it went on here. So this is like a visualization of the future. This is a whimsical place. You're gonna find that out for reals upstairs. Brewster usually makes everyone listen to at least one 78 RPM record in this actual 78 RPM jukebox, but I like you. Now, we're gonna go up to the great room. And so, again, we decided not to change the great room. And I have worked here for 13 years. I come out 4 or 5 times a year. And every time I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go up and look at the great room. And I'm always blown away by the great room. I never fail to be blown away by the great room. So I sound like I'm hyping it up. I'm not, I'm under-hyping it. So please come on up and let's go see the Internet Archive Great Room.
I'm curious how many people have actually Okay. Good luck with that. Yes. Hell no.
Blow up, that was impressive. First data center pipe organ related. Brewster wanted a sense of, like, you know, the temple of data. He really loves the story of the Library of Alexandria as a warning. And so, you know, having such a beautiful building designed this way, this is actually mostly wood, actually. But it was built after the earthquake, so it's earthquake resistant. Usually, the first two questions people usually have is, really? And the second one is like, what's with the creepy little statues? That's usually the first two, right? That was my, so this, yes, really, we own it. This is a place where we'll have events, we have meetings in here, we have, you know, we'll be the host for people when they want to have, you know, conferences and so on. This is a data center. For those of you who are over there who can't see it, those are each 2.5 petabytes of disk space in each column. Every time you see a blue light, that means somebody is reading or writing something to the archive, probably reading. And you know, we're getting millions of visitors every day, so those are real. And don't worry, in the expanse of time, any of you who want to will be able to go up and pose next to it and take pictures. So don't worry about that. That's not gonna. Brewster's not into NDAs, and he's really not into saying, no, not our place. Now, creepy statues. If you work at the Internet Archive for 3 years, they make a statue out of you because we don't have stock options. So this is your vest. So your vest is that you get a little statue made out of you. They're all made by he went to see Terracotta Warriors and had a light bulb over his head, and now we're stuck with these little guys. And what's weird about them, of course, is how they have a sense of looking kind of oldish, but then you'll notice they'll have things like cell phones and videotape cameras. I have floppy disks. Yes, I have one. You'll figure out which one it is later. And people have like one of the more recent ones over there, which has Davide, has the "This is fine" dog, the on fire dog. So he's holding on to that. So they all kind of. You know, the artist Nuala Creed, she has conversations with you and then has pictures of you and asks you, like, what is your expression? And from that, these are individual. Only 2 of them are posthumous. One is of Aaron Swartz, and the other one is of John Perry Farrell. We made them after they were they never knew they were being recorded. And these are the people who have passed through or are still part of the Internet Archive. Some people stay at the archive for a very short time, 3 years and something, and some have been here for 20 years. A whole bunch of different reasons why. It is, like I said, a non-profit with a very strange mission, universal access to all knowledge. And so, you know, some people, and of course, we're in the Bay Area, which means we've had people say goodbye on a Friday meeting crying because they really didn't want to go work for Amazon, but Amazon's paying them a lot and they're kidding. So some of them come back, like they go off, they make their nut, come back, and they want to be part of us again. Like, it's a really wonderful place. And like I said, I've been here 13 years, so I'm, you know, half the archive's life. I like the half I saw. Before it was here, it was in the Presidio in one little building. If you're like, wow, the whole Internet Archive is right there. No, there's 150 petabytes of disk space that has to be doubled, so it's 300 petabytes of disk space. So what you're hearing is not the screaming souls of the old version, it's actually another data center behind that wall, and there's another data center over behind that wall, and then there's another data center in Richmond, California. There is a mirror in Alexandria, because we think that's funny. We have a mirror that's building up in Canada, so that's going to be another part that we have them here. You know, the joke about this particular place is like, ooh, we built on a flood zone and a earthquake zone, and believe me, people will come and say, but what about this? But when people come and say, well, why didn't you do it this way? There's always this invisible price tag there. Brewster Kahle went to MIT, came out and worked for a company called Thinking Machines, where he worked on the Thinking Machine 2 and the never released Thinking Machine 3. Got out of that. His name is Brewster Lytton Kahle, and he's from Scarsdale, New York. He was not going to wait a whole lot of grocery runs to begin with, but he started moving around in tech, started a company called WAIS, Wide Area Information Service, which lets you browse Gopher space, and I'm not going to go into that right now, but he sold it along with his partners for $8 million. Now he had $8 million. So he turned around and started another company, and that company did ratings for websites. The idea being, you know, you're the 155th most browsed sports website in the United States, which was a metric that was important in the 90s. And as part of that, of course, they were taking snapshots to compare over time the websites. He sells it, the name of the company is Alexa Internet. He sells it to Amazon for a couple $100 million of Amazon stock in 1997. Now he doesn't have to wait in any supermarkets, and he can have the supermarket delivered to him. So his first thought was, wow, I'm worth more than I could ever be. Now I finally get to be a librarian. That's literally what he did. So to me, somebody this rich, who gets up and bikes down so he can be a librarian for 12 hours in his office downstairs, that's like a force of will I cannot believe. This is, again, he doesn't go into all this because he's not as, you know, I come from a different background. So for me, it's fascinating. He and his wife, Mary, named their first son after their favorite book font. These are people who love books. So being librarians is literally his dream. And everything after it has been, oh, some people need to store some government films? Okay, well, the Pellinger archives can be at the Internet Archive. Oh, this group of Grateful Dead papers need a place to put their WAV files? Awesome! Here's these, you know, here's the Grateful Dead archive. Books are cool, we should scan them forever. Let's do the book scanning. And it's just been that, this pinballing of what good can we do in the world? So like the Wi-Fi here is free for like a mile around. Just because why not? I mean, there's plenty, to me, there's like 87 reasons why not. But they're like, let's do it. Let's do it. So like that's to me like what really is magical about the place. Believe me, I've spent 13 years. I've looked for the tax haven. I've looked for the trick. I've looked for the, we're calling it this, but we're secretly funneling it here. It isn't. He just literally loves dumping the family fortune into running an unbelievable library, and the universe has been completely unprepared for this. So when we started up, he had a deal with old Alexa Internet, who could give us old websites. So that's where in like 2001, 2002, literally, hey, wouldn't it be neat if we could browse those old websites? And now 50% of our traffic is the Wayback Machine, which, you know, some people know this place exists, some people don't. I like to think that when people think of the Internet Archive and the Wayback Machine, and they go, where is it? And it's this. That's nice. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty neat location. If you look carefully on the left side, he likes to make people guess. The left side of the Psalms is I, and the right side are 3 error codes. 200 means okay, 404 means not accessible, and 451 means taken down for legal reasons. So it's fair enough. Project that we called in with the Library of Congress with all of the world, put them up into a box, send it to them. And 17 years later or something, like that. So it's there. You know, up there and everything else. If you have questions, I will answer some questions, and where I'll be bringing you back down again to is to the back to the Sunday school, which will look just like an office, but if you like understand Sunday school, there. Probably have a few snacks left, maybe. Any other questions?
Oh, my swag.
Well, buy the swag.
This is the best piece of swag.
Fingerless gloves are very popular with people, along with the t-shirts and the hoodies and the cups and mugs. If nobody has any questions, that means I'm the best tour guide. Bow down, and All right, go for it. Which one's my statue? My statue is the one with the black wings. So when you find it, it's the one with the black wings. We looked at to come to the end of all websites.
Here, Kristen.
Aaron Swartz's is over here. He's sitting actually right next to Brewster and Mary, right at the front row. I hope every question is, where's this guy's statue? Go ahead. How do we deal with it? Slowly with the occasional lawsuit. But we have, we do hundreds of takedowns. People want little things, and someone else goes, I don't got that thing, and we talk to them, we find out who the owner, we take it down. But we also have, 59 million individual items on the also as well. So to me, you can't function on the internet as a library without being cognizant of the MCA. And there's a really good process for it, which is like you must show your custody of the owner and take it right off for access because it's yours. But it's a pretty vanishingly small percentage of what we have. But in the same way that like a hospital is not a patient, we have to do compatible. And to be honest, again, I'm not the lawyer. My attitude is, what is a library in the 20th century, 21st century? What is it going to be? And we're one possibility. And some lawsuits say they don't think we're a library, and it's like, well, then we should really figure that out, which is why we're. And so I will tell you that we will fight vigorously. If somebody claims we're not a library, if I fight vigorously, I mean talk for 14 straight minutes into your face, so we'll do it. We are a registered library in the state of California. We are members of the ALA. We've hosted many, many different things. We're a library, but I get where it confuses other people. But we have friends and neighbors all over. There was a very short time, we're talking about the what if, where Brewster was on the short list to be the new Librarian of Congress, which would have been hilarious. Oh my God, I would have loved that 2 years. But it was, they were talking to senators, maybe could he be the person who could boot the world of the library into the, electronic age, true, because I know to a couple, okay, so, and to say this, but the current Librarian of Congress, she's fucking amazing. I don't know if you know of her work. She is amazing. She came up from public schools, and it was like their thing, and then she moved into greater and greater admin and became the Librarian of Congress. She has been amazing. One before her literally said off the record, how do I know? Why doesn't this internet go away? So not the same approach, right? Not the same approach to access, not the same approach to everything else. So it has been, I would love to have seen Brewster before Congress. It would have been spicy. Yes.
What sort of volunteer opportunities do you guys have?
Oh, what kind of volunteer opportunities do we have? So it's ranged over the years. We've had a prisoner program, actually, where we had people who were recently out of prison. We would teach them book scanning for 6 months, have them do a bunch of work, and then Costco was guaranteed to hire them, because we were their training. And we have occasional events where we're we need to sort a whole bunch of books. On site, we have tried various realms of digitizing CDs and digitizing items locally. We'll have events where people are running tables. I would say in general, the best thing to do is to mail info@archive.org, see what's out there. The thing was after COVID hit, it like flipped everything around because it was so hard to get people into a space without it being a health risk. So having random folks come in at various times and come and go became just a big headache. Online, I'm always doing like, let's all describe these things, or let's do reviews on this, or let's figure out what's going on. Like the archive is pulling in 7,000 new items a day, about 100 terabytes of disk space. And so I get people all the time who are like, hey, I just went through all of your things and I noticed these problems. You missed a spot. You try to fix them. So that's kind of where we are now. I wish I don't live here. If I lived here, it would be like volunteerism all day. Make this into a co-working space, fix that sound problem, have a grand old scheme, but I'm not here. Because I love volunteers and I love interacting with folks in communities and working with them. I want the Radical Monarchs because if anyone knows them, the Radical Monarchs are an Oakland-based, not a Girl Scout troop, who teach all the girls how to be real activists. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Real Black Lives Matter badge. But I would love for them to be here to check this place out and find out what they want. But that's about where it is. I mean, I'm always trying to like think about like some sort of large scale thing. A while ago, we got into deduplication, but that's like the other problem is anything in the archive that grows turns into an inequitable volunteer job. Like it's not cool to make unpaid people in the Bay Area come and sort 11,000 books to figure out which 2,300 are not in the collection already. Like that seems wrong. So we don't tend to do that. But we will occasionally have something that may come up. But until then, you know, we have our Friday lunches where we reach out, we have occasional events here which are public and so on, and maybe something comes up there. We do have a Slack. We have like thousands of people hanging out on the Slack. So that's another one. But again, it's like, like the first 20 years of the archive, it was like, so what kind of person has the money to work for a nonprofit in the Bay Area locally? A very small number of people. Either people at the beginning of their career or the end of it. And, you know, or it's the end of it and they wish to atone. So now we got people in Atlanta and Texas and Florida and New York and Michigan and Portland and you know, off in the Netherlands and India and Philippines and so on. Like it's not, let's not pat ourselves on the diversity back, but at least you don't have to move to Metaville and pay, you know, a Ford Focus worth of rent and then go work for a nonprofit anymore. So I consider that a win. And of course we have a pretty large, sizable set in Canada. So, you know, a lot of it is like kind of remote. That was a very long answer because it touched on a lot of things. I'm very sensitive about, you know, copyright. Yeah, sure, take me on. But like volunteerism, I'm like, wow. Volunteerism is kind of fallen off the cultural map as a kind of cool thing because it's such a trap door to forcing unpaid labor. Like, so you got to be super careful because it's like, it's great if anyone wants to come in a day and bake cake, but you don't want them to be going down to the cake baking basement 5 days a week unpaid because they're helping, right? It can go so sour so quick, and I'm very sensitive to that. I want people to walk away feeling they helped, not that they were used, and that is a very fine line. And again, part of it is, you know, a lot of this place is free, a lot of this place you can use, interact with. Obviously, I tell people if you don't like the archive, just keep hitting refresh on the front page. You are costing us money. You have no ads. Just keep doing it. F5, let's take it out, man. But yeah, no, this is I'm excited that those are the kind of questions we're trying to think about. Like, what are we going to do? How can we be better? What can we make more access to? How can we, even though our door is open, how do we get communities who don't trust reaching out with their culture to work with us? What can we do to fix that? That's big. All right, any other questions? No, good. So, did everyone get their photos with Big Daddy and the set over there. You can feel free to take the photo, pose in front of the photo, whatever works. We have, again, each one of those is 2.5 terabytes. You see a diskette in there. It's probably each individual disk is 16 terabytes, and then it's 2.5 petabytes front and back for each column. So you're looking at like about 10 or 12 petabytes right there. It's kind of it's a commodity group called, I think it's something Micro. They are a community, they're a family business in the Bay Area.
So just in the Internet Archive right now. It's an amazing building, lots of history. Used to be an old Christian Science church. I'll give you, whoever the viewer is, hi, thanks for tuning in. Give you the view here. Look at that. That is pretty cool. I'm just gonna walk over to these statues. So because it's not a public company, after a worker has been here for 3 years, they get their own statue. So that's pretty cool. Just gonna walk back to the tour.
Positive images of women, so you can sit in there with your tea and sit on a chair and just be surrounded by positive images of women for a while. They have a pamphlet explaining it. Every Sunday they open up the ramp and people come up and just get hit by Eve, the images of Eve, for however long they want. And the only reason this is here is because they were like talking to Brewster, and Brewster was like, yeah, sure, you want to run it here for a while? And that was about a year ago. So it's just been going, you know? So that's why that's there. That's literally why that's there. It's, you know, it's an ideal situation to have portions of the archive. What are you doing? Oh, they're making pottery or something. And we just got our hands on this ridiculously expensive projector, but we got it for like $3,000. And we're showing movies on it. So when the lights are down, it's like really super sweet. I'm gonna lead people down. If you're done and you have something to do, just go through either of these. It'll lead you right to the lobby. And I can continue to ask. Yeah. And you take any pictures you want with anything you want. There's nothing you're gonna surprise us later going, oh my God, they know that we were with the lampshade. People have been handing us like old t-shirts, so we recreate them into cushions.
That's
So
cool.
This is the Detrius of many unsung startup dreams and other commentary. Yeah. So if you oh yeah, no. This is San Francisco. Come sit
Oh
on
my
it.
God.
Yeah. Sit on
So
it.
these are
10
old.
years of publishing.
These are old like t-shirts from startups that are no longer with us. That's pretty
Right where it
cool.
belongs.
Upload Bitcoin. Sweet.
This is iconic, Sam. That's from when I started.
Bianca Loves You. I gotta check that out. What is Bianca Loves You?
So, when I worked, in 1994 to 96, I worked for Wired Magazine, and a bunch of the Hot Wired kids
Oh, okay.
who ran Hot Wired, they had a side thing called Bianca's Smut Shack.
Okay.
And they very famously served grilled cheese at all their parties and at Burning Man, and
cool.
they were just part of the sort of fabric of early San Francisco internet fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Is
they were a whole
our
bunch of friends of mine.
infrastructure
Nice.
engineer, which is
They were
why he has
wild-
the legendary
wild
Ethernet
kids.
cord around his
I went to
neck.
Burning Man with them in 1995.
Oh, did you go to the one in Baker Beach?
I did not.
Okay.
Victor is our on-site. That's the mass hall. This is Victor. He does all of the facilities and work. He's why everything actually works. BZ. Oh.
It's just such a cool space.
No problem. No problem.
I love his statue.
All right. So anyone who wants to, I'll take you quickly down.
So the tour has concluded. Just gonna head downstairs.
So just two other things. It is possible to stay over at the archive. So we have two suites
Oh,
that we
sweet.
have guests, especially from other countries, if they're visiting. It's just easier just to house them on the place. So we actually have just the whole deal with the layout and welcome to whatever. And if you're tired of being able to hear high-pitched noises, great news.
So this is one of the guest suites. That's pretty cool.
That is the loud screaming other one. And it's got
right
all this,
there?
air.
Nice.
So this, like, for people who are like, oh, it can't be those six. It can't be just those 6 towers. No way. This is another few petabytes. There's more petabytes in other places.
Petabyte. Get it? Get it? I wish I was named after the petabyte.
So because this is literally where the musicians would camp out before they had to go out and perform.
Oh. So that's from the old church. Okay.
There's little bits of the old church kind of everywhere, just kind of here and there in pieces.
Second
So,
reader. Okay. That's cool.
Anyway, so this is the other way down.
It's too hot, you just like crackle it down. It's no light here.
Heading back down to the lobby. We're not talking?
Sleep next to that.
All right, so this is going to confuse everybody. If you go out that way and go to the left, and you're like, that seems like outside. Yes, it is outside.
Oh.
You're unfortunately outside.
Oh, this is a garden. All right. That's cool. It's the side of the building right here. I used to see the workers here like eating lunch, like, I mean, way before, COVID. It's nice.
Okay. So what happened is that concrete you're seeing there was the reading room for the Christian Science Church. And one day there was a fire. So it just burned down. And this got burned, and this got burned. And I'll always remember this because they were interviewing Brewster at like 4 a.m, and he was excited. And they were confused why he was excited. And he's like, we're going to rebuild even better. Like, he was just excited. He was already on to like, okay, we lost the reading room, we'll do something. So we've tried some ideas. It turns out it's a fantastic event space. And on top of that, this garden is done by Wendy Hanamura, who kind of took us to the next generation of development and building things and so on. And so she's been doing this in memory of her husband and has been constructing this wonderful place. So when we have October events, which is like our really big public event, we'll have this be, like the real barbecue and hangout area. So we turned it into something nice and community.
Yo, Mom, if you're there, I'll send you the top hat.
As you can see, absolutely weird.
I can buy you a beanie.
Ridiculous power going in. I don't even want to think about what that is. And it's, it's just a fascinating place.
Was that original, or did you have to retrofit?
I don't know. I think so. I think we had to do it. I mean, that seems to be. There's what is it like? I'm going to get it wrong. There's a very fat connection going into this building, like a terrifyingly fat, terrifyingly CD-ROM just burns out like a Ice Cube and Llama. So it is fast, and we are getting hit with a lot of traffic all the time. So our network is a token ring going out to Richmond and back. We have arranged that. Like giving stuff away for free is also actually still pretty expensive. So Sam, who's around, and others are like, constantly like, how do we handle this? Because at the end of the day, we're like, how do we give away more stuff faster? Which is just not what we're supposed to be, every other place around here. So anyway, that's what all this is. So I'm going to have you come back in again, and we're going to end up downstairs. I'll talk to whoever wants to, and I'll show you which way is out, and in the front, which way if you want to buy something or do something, and chat and hang out if you want to, enjoy it, because it's here to enjoy. And anyway, so that's, again, I'll show a few more things now, but this is essentially the end.
A lot of people are working
So,
remotely
again,
because
thanks
of the
to all of you for, like,
after the
deciding
pandemic,
to stop by
but
and see this
there's still
place.
people like working
We're
here.
open every Friday,
So
and we're always doing weird events. If you join up with the new, there's a woman named Joy.
it's a really cool site for you guys to visit. Go to archive.org. It's an amazing organization.
/donate if you want to donate anything. We take crypto and love and Venmo and PayPal and everything else.
Power to
And,
crypto.
yeah, just enjoy the joint. All right, so let's head on in.
I'm gonna head downstairs to get some swag. I fancy a new beanie. And then I'll show you guys, for those who just tuned in later, I'll show you.
Eric, love to come.
Come by. It's
When is
after,
it?
probably like 10 until like 6.
Oh, shit, it's fine.
Yeah.
So what we got here?
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. Check out this stuff. Do you kids know what this is? It's for a floppy disk. The Newton. I remember the Newton. Yeah, right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
not out of the box.
No, not out of the box.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Those are like bricks, Living Life. This is the archives building, archives.org. So it's the Internet Archives. So they archive a lot of books, music, video games, all the good stuff.
Hey there, yeah, so we have, this is what happens. These are a whole bunch of interesting artifacts and pieces. I forgot to mention that Mary Austin, Brewster's wife, runs the San Francisco Center for the Book. So they have all sorts of interesting, weird books and, a whole bunch of other pieces there and also here. So that's kind of what got them on the book thing. Brewster's office is here, but he is gone. This is our, one of our audiovisual centers. Again, this was a Sunday school. That's why there's an altar behind the monitor there. We'll have book talks here. People work here. You'll see a few people sneak back to their desks. That way is the way back to the lobby that you were in before. And that's it. I'll hang around if you have questions.
Gonna head to the lobby. Let's get my goodness. VHS cassettes, Dancing with Wolves. I remember that one. This place is so cool. This is a CEO's office. It's a rad desk. I think that's the CEO and his wife. And I'm going to head to the lobby. Alright. Cool. Sorry, the live cut out. This is a book scanner. And they can normally scan about 3,000 books a day, which is kind of cool. More books over here. I really like this bit over here because you see like the evolution of media. So, see, printed book. Who remembers the Rocket ebook? Look at that brick. First generation Kindle looks way different now. I got a throwback for you, Living Life.
Things.
Well, look at Living Life. They had hard drives back in your day, 1956. Not used for personal. Let's see. This is the music section right here. So wax cylinders. So I didn't know that the 78 records were invented in 1894. That's pretty cool. Good old LPs, cassette tapes, CDs, 16 millimeter film, 1932, the 8 millimeter film, VHS. I know, Yo Mama, that I would love to work here if it was like a co-working space. I got something really cool to show you here, Yo Mama. You're gonna like flip out on this one. And definitely check this out on their site. So they have archived hundreds of thousands of video games. So I'm sure you remember playing this one, Oregon Trail, in your computer class in elementary or middle school. I know I did, and oh my God, my friends and I, we would have such a big laugh. Oh, you collect cassette tapes. Oh, that's awesome, living life. I know there's a lot of people who would pay top dollar like for all the retro stuff. So this is all, what's it called? Like an emulator. So they have like a bunch of emulators here. But I really want to check out more of their gaming section because I wasn't too aware about this part. I'm always like on this site, like looking up like old websites and old message boards I used to go to. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I'm going to be trying to do more lives like this because I like giving people like a different experience, so where we can all like learn something, have a little fun, have a little banter. So thanks again for tuning in. And I'll catch you on the other side.